Sure. Ooh,
Ooh,
am I gonna
welcome,
press
Megan.
okay?
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks
Um,
for having me.
yes, my pleasure. Please tell people who you are and what you do.
My name is Megan Merrick. I'm the guitar player and backup vocalist in Iron Kingdom, a Canadian heavy metal band from Vancouver, Canada.
Really good heavy metal band, in my opinion. And you've been with the band
Thank
since
you.
2019, right?
I believe so. Yeah, so I guess I joined 2018, but they didn't announce me till 2019 probably because
Okay.
there was quite a grueling process in like the audition sort of thing. I think,
Hmm.
um, well, because Chris and I have been together for 6 years as well, so we were seeing each other for a little bit, and we didn't want to overlap, but it just so happened, which is going to lead into one of the questions that you have later. I moved here,
Mhm.
and so kind of things kind of everything kind of happened all at once, and you don't really want to mix business with play, but when you have the same vision and dream,
Mhm.
it kind of just works so easily. But you can also see how sometimes situations just like kind of pummel too if you put things together and it doesn't end up working out. But in this case, it did. So yeah, like anyways, I joined in 2019, but it took like it was kind of like we were starting to write music together and everything, and I was like, okay, guys, you're kind of stealing my riffs now, so I'm starting to like compose the songs with you, and like I don't know, you better like tell me now, or I'm gonna go find another group. So,
Mhm.
and then they're like, all right, yeah, you're in. And I was like, okay, thanks.
Oh my goodness. An interesting
So
like
yes,
audition process. That's really interesting.
yeah, yeah,
So you did the guitars on both On the Hunt and Blood of Creation, right?
that's correct. Yeah,
Awesome. Oh, look, a kitty.
yeah, he wants me to play fetch with him.
Exactly
That's low key.
now.
Yeah, I should have locked him out. Sorry.
Oh no, it's totally fine. Everybody's pets like make appearances in this series. Like my
Yeah,
parrot has been in 2 episodes. So
nice.
yeah, and I mean I met someone's bearded dragon like earlier this week in an episode and
Oh,
lots of
cool.
dogs and other parrots. So it's all a part of
Nice. They're
our
just
like
flying through. Brush of the hair.
all a
Very
part of
cool.
being a heavy metal woman. So
Yeah, I think go ahead, sorry.
when did you first realize you loved metal music and you wanted to create more of it?
So that's kind of funny because like I think a lot of people they're probably like, "Oh, I heard this album or this band and I just really wanted to play that instrument or whatever. It really inspired me." I feel like I was kind of like the opposite. Like I was already like in music. I played piano from 4 years old till 12, and then like I was classically trained, and then I was pretty over it, and then it was a big kerfuffle with my family because I was like, I don't want to play piano anymore, and it was just like my dad's a piano player, my grandma's a like professional violinist or was, and like everyone in my family plays. Sorry, oh my god, plays
Quick.
plays music. But anyway, so I was just like, I don't want to play that, but I'll play guitar. Guitar sounds cool, and I like how it sounds and whatnot. So then I picked up a guitar, like I got it for my 12th birthday, and then I ended up playing. And then I took a couple lessons to be honest, but like not too long. It was mostly like self-taught, but because I could pull the theory from piano to
Mhm.
guitar and everything. And I used a lot of like I used to write a lot on the piano, so because it's such a like guitar goes out of tune, and like you can sing with piano. It doesn't. It's like our keyboard. It's more same pitch all the time, sort of thing. Guitar can go out of tune. So, anyways, I would write songs on that. I'd play the melody on the piano, and then I'd put on a guitar and sort of thing. But then, yeah, I don't know. I found like I guess the coolest music seemed to be metal. Like I wasn't really into classical, but I like neoclassical, like Yngwie Malmsteen. I was like, that shit is so sick. So
Mhm.
I got into that sort of stuff and like the more of the technical stuff. And yeah, and then I don't know. My brother started playing guitar, and then uh, I heard like Ride the Lightning from Metallica, and I was like, that shit is sick.
Mhm.
And then yeah, so then I just kind of took it from there and started playing more heavy metal music or heavy music, and then I explored a little bit into like pop punk and stuff. I used to play in like a pop punk band, like all female. We
Mhm.
talked about we were like the female Steel Panther, like quite
Oh,
inappropriate,
cool.
talking about topics that you don't really talk about, and we had like a whole show going on. And but then I always had my metal band on the side because I love the technical aspects of metal, and so I wasn't really getting that in the punk band. But I was you sell more albums and more people come to the shows with the pop punk band. I found because like at least in I was from Toronto, so but it was just like all about the doing something after work that's completely unrelated to your life.
Mm.
And I think that's what people really like, the escape, coming to the shows and stuff. So yeah, and then the heavy metal, like I said, it was just like I just always fall back on it because I loved it so much. And that's where you really get your so anyways, long story short, there you go.
So Ingve Malmsteen, have you ever heard of The Great Cat?
The Great Cat. Yes, yes.
Another
Very cool.
neoclassical heavy metal um, musician, woman, Juilliard trained, I think, and she actually was recording her neoclassical guitar albums at the same time that Yngwie Malmsteen started doing that. So they were
Oh,
completely,
cool. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I've heard of her.
contemporary. It wasn't his influence on her. She was already studying classical music and um, like,
Sorry, my printer's going insane for some reason right now.
can't
You
hear
can
it.
hear it in the
You're
back.
good.
Oh, great, because I've got, okay, I'm gonna just get rid of this guy. One sec. Goodbye, Loki. I love you, but this is too distracting. I have like ADD to the maximum, and I can't focus on things.
Um,
Okay, turned off
so
the printer. We're good. Thank you. Sorry.
So since you kind of answered the next question, I'm going to jump over it and
Yeah,
ask
go for it.
if your music were a movie soundtrack, what would the Iron Kingdom movie be about?
Oh, I had so much trouble with this question. I honestly like it's so like all the albums are so diverse that and like or songs are so diverse that I don't know. Like it would just be the most random movie ever. Like with it would be like a chapter or seasons of a show or something.
Okay.
But I don't know how they would tie together because like I'll give an example like on the Blood of Creation, like the first song is very much like I wrote it to be like stuck in a ship in the middle of the sea and the wind blowing and you're lost. And
Hmm.
then it goes into She the Sword, which is just like a full on power metal song.
Hmm.
And then we got Queen of the Crystal Throne, and it's about like a temptress,
Hmm.
who's like like I don't know how those would tie together, like sword fighting and then temptress, and then we got a power metal song about a guy like sniping a million, not a million, like 100 Russians coming into Finland, and he's just trying to protect his property. Like I
Yeah.
don't know, like would this be another season of something? So it's pretty random. Like I honestly, I have no idea. I was like, oh, if only it would just fit in Lord of the Rings, but like it would not. Um, so or it's like,
Oh my.
so that was a question. I was like, I don't really know the answer to that because it's too hard to sum it all up.
Yeah.
I think it would be like, yeah, like a show or something more so than a movie.
Okay. Cool. Cool. All right. Well, yeah.
Perfect for the nowadays audiences who, they like things shorter anyways. So
It sounds like it could be like a Doctor Who kind of thing where you just like, or like a Star Trek kind of thing where you're just like jumping in and out of worlds and scenarios.
yeah,
Um,
there you go. Exactly.
uh, so, if you could play a tour with any three bands, alive or dead, who would you choose?
Ah. Um, so I think I wanted to break this one into categories because it's like first of all, like I would have wanted to play with them more so when they were like a little bit hotter. In the sense of like, maybe in the 80s or 90s. 'Cause some bands are getting a bit tired now. Um, but then I would think of there's also a realistic category where, they're more closer to our tier and I'm likely to see them on the road and would love to play with them sort of situation. So I'm going to break it down into two categories if
Okay,
that's okay.
sure.
So my more unrealistic thing would be Saxon, Judas Priest, and Accept or Udo slash Udo.
Mhm.
So
Cool.
and then completely probably wouldn't work on the bill very well would be a third or fourth band would be Nightwish, but they're
Oh,
no longer a thing. But I love Nightwish. But the clash of Iron Kingdom and Nightwish I don't think would work well as a bill. Like we are both metal, yes, but very different types of metal.
yeah,
But I definitely
yeah.
have uh some influences from Nightwish. I really like Nightwish a lot. On the more realistic scale, I would want to play with our friends Riot City and Skullfist,
Mhm.
and Crystal Viper was another
Oh
one
yeah.
cool.
Oh
And
yeah.
but that's three, and then I had a fourth one which we just played with Tail Gunner from the UK. They also have a female guitar player, Rhea, who's really great. And so yeah, jot it down.
Make note of this.
So, but yeah, it was really cool seeing them because I've heard about them and I've known about them for a little while now. They're pretty new band, but lots of energy, and they have like the very similar like kind of with the name Tailgunner, I guess like the Iron Maiden like energy.
Hmm.
Oh, so it's just nice to see another band kind of like give her. And I think all these bands are really phenomenal for energy and just like love what they're doing. So I
Hmm.
think like you just go to the show and you'd be like, oh my God, what's happening? This is amazing. Chug the beers. Like it would just be like so much energy.
I
So,
love it.
anyways,
I actually love your selections. Crystal Viper can play Vakken this year.
sweet.
Congrats,
Yeah.
Marta Gabriel, pride of Poland, that woman.
Yeah.
How does Bart hang on to her? I sometimes wonder. And
Actually, he did our some of our European promotion for Blood of Creation, which was
oh,
cool.
nice.
Yeah, and I have Crystal Viper pants.
Are you,
I
are you
wear them
currently wearing them?
specifically in Poland. Sorry,
Are you currently wearing them?
I'm not, but these are my superhero pants.
Oh, okay.
I just got them.
It was like very
Oh yeah.
elegant way to show that off. So and then like yeah, yeah, I will totally check out this Tail Gunner guitarist. That's exciting. Um
Yeah.
and Riot City, I just saw them in Mexico City.
Yeah, we just ran into Dustin on the road in we were playing the Czech Republic and he came out to this show, Dustin the bass player. And yeah, it was cool. It was just nice to see our fellow Canadians. Like
Mhm.
I like seeing all of people that are in the metal scene like in different countries. Like it's not selective to like only going there because I think a lot of metalheads are just travelers and like
Mhm.
love going around and seeing different shows and festivals and just being part of the community. And
Mhm.
you're just like, hey man, like it almost got overwhelming. We were playing in the Czech Republic, and just like I actually had to go and have a beer at the bus by myself because I saw so many people that I've known over the years, and I was just like hyperventilating excitement, like like oh my god,
It
it's
had
you,
like a
oh my
timeout.
god, sorry.
It was like a timeout. Bus
Oh,
beer.
I totally needed a timeout. I was like, this is overwhelmingly awesome. Like, I just need to like and you just get off stage too, and you're just like heart's like pounding, and it's just like you get in, you get on the stage, you play, you leave, you just it's like like adrenaline. You're totally like worn out for a second. You just need to like calm the central nervous system. Oh my god. Anyways,
Yeah, I really like your selections for that. Both the like the two categories, the fantasy group and the younger people. Um, okay, so if you could play any festival, which one would you choose?
so well, we just played Heavy Metal Thunder, which was sick in the Czech Republic. But there's a new one, or I'm gonna say it wrong, obviously to the Germans, but it's Truheim, and it's just outside of Munich.
Hmm.
The city is Halbergmus.
Right, that one.
Yeah, Halbergmus. Anyways, that one, yeah, it's like basically one thing I really liked about Heavy Metal Thunder and this particular festival. A lot of the fans have been telling us that they're giving uh, the mid-tier bands an opportunity, and a lot of the bigger festivals are just taking on like um, the larger bands or the bands who like because there's this novelty of coming out in the 80s. And I'm not saying they don't deserve the slots that they're getting, but a
Hmm.
lot of the bands are getting tired now and things like that. So it's like we have younger bands, we have newer bands that are coming out and they're like fire and they're amazing and they're crazy, but because they haven't come from the 80s or
Hmm.
whatever, they're not like put up high on the bill. But is their performance better? Yes, I agree so. Like I really do think a lot of their performances are better. But you can't argue with the classics. But I want to when I go see a show, I want to not just listen to the album. I
Hmm.
want to see a performance. I want to see them move. And like there's
Hmm.
a point where I'm like, okay, yeah, like yeah, they are older and it's amazing that they're doing it. And I'm not dissing that, but I just I I really think that we should give an opportunity to those other bands. And I think these festivals are starting to do that now.
Hmm.
And a lot of the promoters are doing it like, we're not, none of us are in this for money, but they're like, we just do this out of the love and the, we want to see bands succeed and stuff. And so I think that's really cool. But I would totally also want to play Hell's Heroes, which is freaking awesome. I went last year as a
Hmm.
spectator. I was like, oh my God. It's like you're just dying. Like everything is great. You're like, ah, except the beer prices. But other than that, you're just like, it's just so much fun. Just so much fun. So many great bands, just so much energy. And like, I don't know, you're just like, whoa,
No,
oh my God.
you are so great, fun, and full of energy. I think that you probably make all of these festivals better, even if you're only being a spectator and not a performer, just bringing the vibe. Um, and also on the note of like promoters and like where they're placing different bands, I always thought that the like 80s bands just had like larger draws, and so it was more about like getting tickets sold than it
Mhm.
being about the era. But I
Yeah.
wonder, I feel like what I'd have to do to like be sure that wasn't the case is like have a band that was big, had a big enough fan base to like fairly compare it to one of the 80s bands and then see if it
Mhm.
was really about the 80s thing or if it was about ticket sales.
Yeah, I mean, I think just traveling, just coming back from tour, um, I think that was like an eye opener for me, because yeah, they could have not like even you could have just like a member that had been in the band for like 5 seconds. Like look at I'm not trying to diss Quiet Riot, but like now they're like one member who happened to be um on like a studio album,
Hmm.
like as a session player. But
Hmm.
now they're still running around as Quiet Riot, which is fine. There's still a band encompass Quiet Riot's sound,
Hmm.
but like they're a casino rock band. But
Right.
they draw,
Right.
but it's like
Right.
because of the
Yeah.
name.
Hmm.
So like I won't go and attack other like smaller bands, but like that's a great example of a larger band,
Hmm.
um, larger metal band.
Yeah.
but but it's just like I think there's this novelty when people Google like, oh, from 1980, whatever, and
Huh.
then they go and then it's just like meh sometimes, you
That is
know.
a very, very goofy, pretentious reason to like a band. You should just like a band
Well,
because they
but
sound good.
so I love Europe, but they'll always like I love their like passion in metal. They're always like they want the unique thing. They want to know all the details. They want to know all
Right.
the it's so cool. But like I think that was some things that they also mentioned too. And I was like, interesting. Like you're talking to a fan, they're like "Brr, brr, 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 brr," like "Duh, duh, 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 duh," about like certain things. You're like, oh, I never thought about that. Oh, that's an interesting perspective. Like they'll just lay it on the line too. Like they don't care what people think. They're just like, so
Yeah.
it's so
Big
cool. Like
crush.
we're a little bit more like, I'll
Um,
save that for the car ride home.
oh, okay. So, looking back on your choices in life, what is a big decision that you made that turned out to be a great choice?
Yeah, so that was like I just mentioned earlier. I said I would touch on it later. About moving from one side of the country to the other side of the country. I left both of my bands at the time. I left all my family, I left everything. I knew like one person here, in Vancouver. I moved from Toronto to Vancouver, and I just went to pursue my master's degree because I was like, in my field, I felt like I was still like I had gaps in my education. Like,
Hmm.
I wanted to feel fully confident for the fees that I charge, that I knew all the answers. But in turn, I was halfway through my degree probably, and then Chris and I were actually connecting because I wanted to get my metal band over here to do like a tour,
Hmm.
and so I was like, oh, what about Iron Kingdom? Da da da. And like, you just kind of like add people in the area like who are in the same scene, and you just try to like connect to, try to get your band
Hmm.
on bills and gigs, and like you're trying to expand as a band. So, anyways, yeah, he was like, oh well, yeah, we could totally talk about it in the future. My band's actually playing Hyperspace Metal Festival, and it's in a couple weeks. You should come out. And I was like, all right, what the hell? Like, meanwhile, I had been going to like a bunch of like death metal shows and like, I mean, I'm not opposed to death metal,
Hmm.
but we have a lot of it here and a lot of stoner metal.
Hmm.
And like, there's like the stoner metal bands, like, they have so many pedals, and I don't know what they use any of them for, like a million. And I'm just like, yo, you were playing the same note for like the whole set. I don't know what's going on. And I just kind of like I'm getting so like I was getting super bored. I was like, oh my god, is this all Vancouver has to offer? Like it was cool for like the first month, and I was just like, okay, I'm over this. Like, where's the heavy metal, yo? So, anyways, Chris invites me to go to this festival, and I go, and I see Iron Kingdom, and I was just like, I was pretty drunk, but I was like, oh my god, finally a band, his voice,
Oh
oh,
my
the
god.
energy.
Hmm.
So, and then his sister was playing drums, Amanda Asterman, and I was more enthralled by her because my sister played in Skullfist, she was the
Right.
original drummer, and then they apparently had played a bill together a long ass time ago, and yeah, so they all knew each other, and I was like, oh my god, it's like such a small world, like because Skullfist had toured across and played with Iron Kingdom at Funky Winker Beans here, and anyway, so I was talking with her and everything. Anyways, so yeah, it ended up being a really great move, essentially, coming to see the band. And then they were like, oh, by the way, like the guitar player that they were playing with is just a substitute, or like, and then they ended up saying like, we needed a guitar player. And I'm like,
Hmm. Yeah, good.
but
Love
me.
that.
So
Good.
then, yes, that was like a great decision. And I actually was probably gonna consider moving back until ended up working out. And so put all of my eggs in one basket, and I went for it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I was gonna say your sister, her name popped up when I was like learning about you and a little bit about your background. So that's pretty cool to have like your sister be into heavy metal. My sister's Japanese husband loves death metal, but because I tried to get us all to go to Hell's Heroes, but they were like,
Right.
older sister's like, listen, I cannot take any more metal. I'm like, it's a different kind. It's totally different. And she
Hmm.
couldn't get her to do it. So,
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like there's like I think a lot of I think more metal people like heavy metal than heavy metal people like death metal.
hmm.
But I could be totally wrong. Maybe I'm just very biased in my opinion.
I mean, I don't know because I'm not really like in the death metal scene, so I
Yeah.
have no idea. But
See, there are some death metal bands that I do love, like Dissection and I guess it's kind of Black Death. Anyways, and like I like melodic death metal from specifically Finland. Like
mhm, a great
yeah, I
export
don't
of the
know.
nation.
Sorry?
It's a great export of the nation.
Yeah. And but there's yeah, sometimes it's just really again, it's very specific. I think like that's kind of what I've kind of come to the conclusion is like everyone has their opinion, but
Hmm.
it's all subjective.
Hmm.
You can think whatever the hell you want, but it's all subjective to you. You can just whatever. You can like this band. You can have this opinion about this album. Some people think the New Priest is the best Priest of ever, and some people are like, "Hell's no, I'll never listen to New Priest." Some people are like, "New Iron Maiden's the best." You know what I mean? It's just like to each their own.
Yeah. Um, so what is your favorite piece of gear or stageware that you own?
Well, obviously, I'm gonna say my guitar, which I of course don't have today because it's at the rehearsal space. But I got a new Ibanez like maybe okay, it's like 3 or 4 years ago. It's my
Hmm.
green one. It looks basically exactly the same as this one, but it's green.
Ah.
And it has a floating Floyd. So yeah, it's pretty much like this. Very thin because
Ooh,
I'm small.
yeah.
And yeah, I
Nice.
like to play thinner guitars. I'm not a Fender person. I like more of Jackson or Ibanez. I don't originally like Ibanez's pickups and certain things that they choose on their instruments, but I like change things out on them. I
Hmm.
find their stock pickups are not great. Um, but yeah, and then I got this really cool belt, which I really love, and my new pants, of course. Here I
Yeah.
wore them so I could show you. Um,
Oh, what?
this is from Hellbent Designs. I know there's a lot of
Nice.
different ones that make it, but I made this custom with her. Jasmine's her name, and I got my superhero pants
Yes.
recently. So like, so I
Yeah,
thought I'd
girl.
wear those. I feel like a superhero wearing them. Like I could
You are
just do
a super
some
heroine. Hell
high
yeah.
kicks or something. But
Amazing.
I don't know. I also got a new stage vest, but it's I partied too hard in it and I like busted some of the studs off.
Oh, that's
So
very Doro Pesh of you.
well, yeah, I'm just talking to the what do they call them? Seamstress.
Mhm,
She'll have to redo it unfortunately because it was just not like I took it through the trial runs
mhm,
and I was just like popping off the studs as I
mhm,
was playing. Like I'm not too like I'm crazy, but I'm not like just the moving of your body,
mhm.
doing things.
Yeah.
It's just like paka, paka. It's like a liability, like flicking them in people's eyes or something. So I gotta.
Oh gosh. Well, with it, like I was imagining it to be like a little more Janet Jackson, a little more Doro Pesh with the ripped vest incident where that like blew up Warlock. Where
Oh, did Dora do that? I didn't even know that.
yeah, that was very early in her career. Nobody knew
Oh
who
no.
Warlock was, and she like didn't button her vest or like kind of buttoned it, and it, busted open. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
then there were photographers there and they took a bunch of pictures. So it was like open long enough for like 80s cameras to get a clear shot. And
Oh
then they
no.
published it in like Kerrang, like a spread, and they were like, "Fuck!" And then everybody was like, "Wow, Doro Pesh." And there's a lot of those power of Venus moments that are early in the careers of great female musicians that, hey, listen, Dolly Parton's grandma told her, get your tits out if you want to make money.
Hmm.
And then there's like, Debbie Harry from Blondie was a Playboy bunny, and like that was never like something people stopped talking about. Like just like so many examples where like Pat Benatar in her cat suit or Susie Quattro in the leather jumpsuits, like power of Venus, baby. Get your tits out. So
Breathing it.
I was thinking that maybe, or in your case, shoot their eyes out with the stuff on your vest.
Gaga! Pa!
Reading
That
it all.
sounds more my speed. Paka,
Oh
paka,
my goodness.
paka.
Anyway, oh God. And then there's this very famous guitarist. I can't think of his name, but he's always wearing sunglasses and lots of necklaces. He's like I feel like he's like a
Oh, I
Black
love this. Like,
Jewish.
I love the descriptions of metal people. It's like, yeah, do you know the guy with, he's got long brown hair, a jean jacket, and really tight pants.
No, no,
Yeah.
this is not a metal guy. He's like very famous.
Okay.
Anyway, I think he's like a Jewish African American. I cannot think of his name, but he ripped his pants and his dick fell out, and like people got pictures of it, and then his fans in the audience sued him for indecent exposure, and I was like, "Yo, you are his fan. He just gave you a gift, okay?"
Yeah.
So I
That
don't know.
was
It's
funny.
like, yo, we need to be bringing back. I mean, I don't know that there's like that time that Fergie peed herself on stage, but I don't think that's the same
Oh
thing.
no. Hey, depends what you're into, I guess.
You are right.
There's a something
You
for
are right.
everybody.
No judgment at all. That really worked for some people. And it certainly
You
did.
just need to sign a consent form when you arrive to the show or like with the
Yeah,
ticket sales. Be like, you may see a penis.
yeah. No, it's like you have to be over 18, and the show may have some nudity. Or like Wendy O. Williams, same thing. Like shock rock. You know, all
Oh
kinds of.
yeah. Well, we played with my punk band played with L7 and they were part of the Riot Girl movement
Mhm.
and like they got famous by the singer pulling out, well not because of it, but she took her tampon out and threw it in the middle of the crowd in the middle of her set.
So
Ah,
there
it's
was a
fun.
band that I did some backup vocals for live in Seattle, and um the bassist had just had a baby, and so she was breastfeeding, and she did squirt the crowd, sprinkle them with a little breast milk, but she also squirted it into the mouth of like the drummer and the rest of the band members. I did not get the breast milk personally. I was not
Okay.
like singing backup at that time. I mean, it was like an air squirt. She wasn't like putting her nipple in their mouth, but um
Wonder how her partner would feel about that.
oh, the
She'd be like,
children. Like, you know what? You'll have to. I'll let you know when her episode is released, because then you'll understand that that would never matter anyway.
yeah, yeah.
To each their own.
Yep.
So, let's see. Okay, So, what new announcements do you have for us?
Oh, well, we're going back to Europe very soon in June, and we're doing France and Muscle Rock,
Okay.
and where else are we doing? Belgium.
Mhm.
We're still solidifying dates, so if anyone who's listening to this wants to come and book Iron Kingdom for June 2024, we are available. We're there till the 17th, from May 28th to the 17th, and yeah, we're gonna be out there, and then we're doing. I think we're gonna be recording our next record. Uh, our songs are pretty laid down right now. I'm still critiquing a bunch of things and adding in parts and stuff, and kind of see what next or what song is, because you kind of want to put the album so it all fits well, right?
Mhm.
Like you don't want to have like super all over the place music, because you can
Mhm.
save that for the next record. Like, so kind of organizing it. So we'll probably be recording drums after we return from June, and then hopefully by next year we'll have the next album out. Um,
Amazing.
and then yeah, hopefully this time our vinyls were like super late, like a year late
Oh.
after the release of Blood of Creation. Just like literally we're in shipping for 3 months, like from
Ah.
overseas coming here. We were like, oh man, we missed a couple tours with them, and I felt so bad because I
Oh,
wanted to,
dang.
yeah. But anyways, yeah. So that's what's going to be happening with us. We're playing Hyperspace Metal Festival next. We're doing a show with Unleash the Archers in Victoria. Unfortunately, we couldn't make the Vancouver date, so that was going to be a really awesome show too. But our good friends Hyperia and another band are on that bill. But they're also going to Europe when we are. So I was like, how the heck are we both going to time this so we can play the Vancouver show and then fly out to Europe right after, like as two bands? But they're gonna do it somehow. So I don't know. We had to say no because we gotta organize ourselves. But
Yeah.
quite a few shows coming up.
Oh,
So
amazing. So,
yeah.
for your next album, are there any like new influences you've heard or anything that's just like it inspired you that we might notice about your new collection of songs as a guitarist?
Um. Well, I don't really write lyrics, but so as a guitarist, I think I was trying to. I don't know. I kind of want to write another banger like On the Hunt again. So On the Hunt was very like a straightforward record. Um I want the crowd to feel involved. And I would like to write the album so that it's part of the stage performance as well,
Mm-hmm.
so that makes them feel like part of the show, which they are. And I don't want them to be like, I want them to
Yeah.
be like, oh my God, this is amazing. Yes. Involvement. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I want to, kind of incorporate that. And like, I help a lot with coming up with those vocal pieces too, to help, like, we do backups and we try
Yeah.
to, like, make it feel like a party. So yeah, I don't know, I guess that. And I wanted to, yeah, maybe write a song dedicated to the fans for the
Aw.
next record, so, or maybe on the following one. But we got some ideas about that sort of thing.
Mm.
Like I was just talking to Chris about that, because they really are like the reason why we do this. And they're so dedicated and just so sweet, and like it's just their life, like, and it's our lives too. Like we wouldn't be doing what we're doing without them. So, and
Mhm.
just like the bands that you know we play with, and like, you don't really, you're like question yourself sometimes. You're like, what the hell? Like you're dying. Like I die every day. Like I wake up, I work a full-time job, 10 hours. Then I go to rehearsal. I get home at like 10:30 p.m. I eat a quick snack and I go to bed, and I rinse and
Mhm.
repeat for 6 days a week. I have one day off a week that I'm like kicking, like going again. Rehearsal is on that day off, and
Mhm.
doing everything else.
Mhm.
And you're just exhausted. And then you go on tour and you're like, I'm exhausted when you start the tour because you were exhausted from life.
Mm.
But tour is like, it's not necessarily vacation,
Mhm.
because it's really hard. It's
Yeah.
really like 3 to 5 hours a night of sleep maximum. You barely get time to hotel. Like if you get a hotel, you're there for 2 seconds to shower if you get one. And but when you see those smiles, and people who travel like couple, like, even they'll take a day off because they traveled 200 kilometers, 200 miles even, to
Mhm.
come and to come and see you, or like they're just like, oh, I'm from Russia but I flew all the way to Serbia to see you, or whatever. You're just like, oh my god, like they're just like, I love this album and it really helped me through whatever, and you're just like, and that's why we do it. Like you
Oh,
just feel like a bum star at home sometimes, and then you get out there and you're like, oh, that's why I die every day, because I love this and I love you, and this is amazing. So
oh.
yeah, I don't know.
That's
That's
nice to hear the song based on this feeling that you'll be working on.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know. There's gonna be a whole bunch. Like we're gonna do the power metal, we're gonna do the heavy metal, we're gonna do the everything. So
So,
um,
you are on all streaming platforms, yes.
yes.
You're on Bandcamp, you're on Metal Archives, which is
Hmm.
like white today because it's April Fool's, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
I actually totally got fooled by a couple things online, and I was like, huh?
um, and where can people follow you and your work personally?
Me,
Yeah.
me.
Really?
I'm not really good with
Oh.
social media, to be honest. I don't know. My Instagram handle is mmerrick87. And I don't know. I just have my Facebook. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really post anything. I'm not very exciting. I try to stay off social media as much as I can, unfortunately, just because I don't have time, to be honest.
You
Like,
heard her,
I
guys. Gotta go see her live. She's not on the internet for your entertainment. Gotta get a ticket to see
yeah, I have an old school, like an old computer. Like I'm not really good with technology. Like yeah, but I try, but that's definitely one of my downfalls. And I think we as a band, Iron Kingdom, are trying to get better at that too. Like we're not into like all the streaming platforms and like the new bands, and like I think it's gonna be live in the underground and die in the underground, because we are so like, I know there's like a song like Analog Man by Accept, but like it's like we're gonna be like that. Like we don't do Patreon, we don't do Discord. We know where that like lies, and if you want to do it, it's great. You can make a huge income. You
her.
can you can play video games on the internet and people just watch you. Like
Yeah,
I'm not into it. Like I want to
right.
go hang out with my cats in the backyard. Like I spend enough time on the internet, like, and on my phone, just with work alone, and so I try to be real, connect with the fans in person and stuff like that. So but anyways, like I think that's awesome if like you love doing that. But I just like, I think I'm gonna live and die in the underground, and we're just
All right.
gonna play metal.
All right. All right. Okay, so we're gonna play the vinyl game, and it's gonna go pretty fast. I'm gonna hold up
Uh-oh.
two records, and you're gonna pick one of the two, and you're gonna tell us why you like it or picked it. Joan Baez or Diane Davidson.
Oh no, I know neither of those.
Oh yes, because you know "Diamonds and Rust" by Judas Priest.
Yes, yes.
The Joan Baez.
Okay, I have to pick that one. I'm
Okay.
so bad.
Oh, okay.
Sing me a song. I'm better with that.
Oh, okay. Well, I think you'll know Dolly Parton or Hoaxed.
Or host?
Hoaxed.
No, I don't know them either.
Okay, but
I know Dolly Parton.
Hoaxed is a Portland band that is the best drum production in heavy metal.
Okay. Oh
So
my god.
you'll have
Yeah,
to
this
listen to them for
this
for
is more like Megan's medical or education with women in metal or music,
well,
I
yeah,
guess.
it's like the idea of it is usually there's more time, but we talked a lot. So
Sorry.
the idea is to like sort of just no sorries. We want to hear what you're saying. Um but the idea would be like to discuss like rock history. But LA Witch or Patti Smith?
I don't know either of those either. Give me song names, maybe.
LA Witch is a three-piece from LA. And
Okay.
yeah, metal band. So all the vinyl that I picked has a female guitarist.
Yeah, I can tell, but I'm like, I don't know them.
Okay, that's fun. I think you'll know these. So Amy Winehouse or Girl School.
Girl School. We
Uh,
played with them in France, and they were fucking awesome.
oh, actually, there is one more. All right, so
Yeah, Girl School is super cool.
Susie
Susie
Quattro or
and
Burning Witches.
Burning Witches. I feel like I'd probably like Susie Quattro better, but I'm gonna say Burning Witches because I know them. But I don't. I'm yes. I'm not
Well,
gonna say anything.
Susie Quattro, you
But
know,
she looks more like.
she's actually the bassist. So this is the one
Oh,
album that doesn't have a female
bass
guitar.
players can do that. I'm just kidding.
But she's like an amazing She is the precursor to Joan Jett. She was one of the first women on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine in
Nice.
1975. Yeah, and she's like a bit of a like grittier rock sound, and she's yeah,
Sweet.
literally everything that Joan Jett ever wanted to be. So
Perfect. I'll check her out.
yeah, she's kind
Yeah.
of check out the Great Cat. No, you already know the Great Cat and Susie Quattro.
Yeah, I'm a
And
poser, man.
no, just
I'm
gotta.
really bad with vinyl names of albums and things and
Hmm.
people. Like
Hmm.
I don't know even actors. Like I'm like duh. Like I don't know. I think if I had spent my early 20s not in school and stop, I can speak a lot of Latin, but I don't like. But I don't know a lot of. I didn't really backtrack. I just like I like this. I like that. I like that. But I never like I. I guess I did the the Deep Purple and the Maiden and the
All the boy
basic stuff.
bands that get shoved in
Yeah, I mean,
and
like,
then they obscure and erase the women, just like Jinx Dawson's Coven was, the first track on the album was Black Sabbath. Her guitarist, no, bassist name was Ozzy Osbourne. And then
mhm,
when that album got pulled out of rotation for its satanic rock lyrics, uh, the Polka Tulk Blues Band out in the UK changed their name to Black Sabbath, and Ozzy changed his name to Ozzy Osbourne. And
mhm,
when they got accused of satanic lyrics in their rock music, Ozzy got to have a huge, famous bonanza court case to defend himself that he won, and he got to keep his albums in rotation. So I think the thing is that a lot of the people that we just talked about have been totally erased. And
mhm.
that is the reason that you don't know about them, not because you're a poser, because you totally know about heavy metal history, because you just named a zillion bands in this interview. But the trouble is, we got to talk about the girls.
Yeah, totally. And it's time to go back. Like, I guess I never really had a female role model. I just did what I did. Like I never was like, oh my God, I want to be like her. Like, I just played metal and, I happened to be surrounded by men all the time. So it just is what it is.
Yeah.
And what still bugs me to this day
What?
is that when they were raising money in I forgot they did the song. It was a pop song with there's the Netflix thing on it with Michael Jackson and
Oh, we're
oh, it's
stars.
We're Stars. Okay, so yeah, so then we had the metal one,
Hmm.
but there's no women, not one.
Ta-da. Ta-da.
I
Well,
was like,
how
did
are you
no one notice this?
it's like how are you supposed to have a female role model when that's the kind of thing that happens?
Literally, I was like, there were so many talented women at the time,
Yeah.
like, and then none of them were involved, and I was like,
Yeah,
and no,
so
it's funny because nobody I was sitting with even noticed that, and I was like, did you guys notice that? We were watching it in a Dio documentary originally,
hmm.
and then they were like, oh, I didn't notice that. I was like,
And you know
I
these
fucking noticed that.
everybody like worships a lot of like Dio was like really good to women, and Lemmy was very good to women. He said really kind things about um like all of the women musicians that he like met and worked with.
Mhm.
And I wish that the guys that worship those guys would take notice that like that is a part of what makes those guys cool.
Mm,
But anyway, yeah, so it's like
yeah.
but we're not gonna let that keep going. So we got this show. We have this series where girls can find female role models and they can learn about women in rock history. And there's yeah, we're just not doing
Hey,
that.
you can teach me something.
Well, I learned a lot from you. It's super nice to talk to you. I really like your energy. Really
Thank
like,
you. Nice to talk to
bubbly,
you.
sunny, and yeah. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me. And you caught me on the only sunny day in Vancouver because it never seems to be sunny. So happened to be today, and that's wonderful.
Right then, don't you sit on this computer anymore. Go with those cats.
Oh yeah, I'm a cat life,
Look,
cat mom life.
all right.
But thank you, and I hope women out there are authentically themselves. Be
Yeah.
you.
Yes.
And thank you, Joe, for having me very much.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I'll see you around. Maybe I'll
Yes, I
see you at a
hope so.
show.
You got a show.